Hi, welcome to video 3, which is researching cool business tools for that niche, whatever niche that you have chosen in video 2. Now, before you go all out and start to create a product, it's very necessary to research cool business tools first. Maybe you can come up with some ideas and create 3 or 4 different cool ideas, and then from there you can figure out which one's the best idea and go with that. The biggest mistake that people make when they create products is they go all out, they think of an idea, oh, that's great, and they go out and create the product. Wrong. You're setting up yourself for failure if you do that, because you need to know which business tool is going to sell the best, or in other words, which business tool is going to fulfill the problems and the needs of that specific business the most. So before we actually go out and research business tools, what I want to do first is talk about some ideas. Give you some ideas first before I go out on Google and on the internet and show you how to research further on business tools. So okay, the goal here is to give local businesses tools to run their business better or more efficiently. That's your goal. Your goal is not really to make lots and lots of cash. If your goal is to help these local businesses first, you're going to make some money and good cash later on. That's why I want you to understand. So keep that in your mind and find something, a business tool that you can create to help these local businesses. And one thing to keep in mind is when you're doing your research, you can even go out and talk to a local business in that specific niche. I find that works very well, because if you can get into the head of a local business owner in that specific niche, whatever niche you choose, then most likely the problems that they face, the needs that they need to be fulfilled, are the same needs and problems that local businesses in that same niche face. So that's why I say research first. So some ideas. Researching the biggest needs of that niche. Like I said, go out, talk to some local business owners about problems that they face. And if you're thinking, oh, how do I start the conversation? Well, the biggest thing that I've found that works is going into stores and buying their products and talking to their manager and just talking to them in a friendly manner, just to get on that personal level. Once you start talking to them, once you buy from them, then they're more open to actually talking with you. Now, you're not necessarily selling to them, but you can say, oh, hey, I do marketing, or I run an online business too. One thing that local business owners are more open to is if you buy their product and you're also a business owner and you talk to them about their business just to get an idea about their business and the problems that they face, most likely they're going to open up to you more and more. And I've talked to local business owners and they've taken half an hour of their time just to talk to me. And just from that talk alone, they've opened up a lot of things that those specific local businesses face. So that's just something to keep in mind there. You want to find out the problems that lose them time and money. You can say, hey, so how's business? They're going to say, oh, business is great, or business is okay. I'm like, really? Really? So what do you think is losing you the most time? Or what do you think is the process in your business that loses you the most money? And you can ask them, okay, are you using any process? What's your process of selling? Because you're not a business that is in direct competition with them, they're most likely going to tell you their online process or their sales process in general. Now, if you're selling tires and you're a guy who has a tire business, then they might talk about it, but they're most likely not going to talk about it because you're in direct competition. That's why I say, if you're going to talk to somebody, say, hey, I'm a marketer, or I I have an online business that has nothing to do with their business. If you do that, they're more open to telling you what they face. You know, what loses them time, what loses them money. And I tell you that as a method because that's really what opens the doors and gets them to release you information that they normally would not release. The whole idea is to find these problems. If you know the problems, then you can always create a solution. Software, for example. Software is always, you can create software very easily by finding problems that people face. Some sort of process that generally takes a lot of time and or even money. I've created a lot of software over my years by simply taking problems. For example, I could take a video series or let's say somebody creates videos, 5 videos on a specific process. I could take those specific processes that take 2 to 3 hours to complete and create a piece of software and find a programmer and for less than $150 to $200 create that piece of software. Or I can develop a system. If you're dealing with tire stores, most likely they may not be maybe they're not as technically savvy. Now some are, some aren't. Now you have to differentiate. You have to figure out who's more technologically savvy and who is not. Because some people, when they hear software, they get scared and they run away. Sometimes people say software, they're like, oh, what kind of software do you use? You know, so if people know and you can show them that your software actually will improve and save them time and money, most likely they will be open to that. So just some ideas, softwares, systems, ebooks. Doesn't have to be ebooks. In fact, you can stick mostly with softwares and systems, or even some sort of physical product or physical idea to help them improve their business. Let me give you some examples. For example, churches. Churches, for example, my church. We have a system or a software that caters to different churches. Whenever somebody comes to visit our church, what we do is we call them and say, hey, thanks for coming. Here's for more information on Sunday school classes, things like that. And that would be a specific software. And I remember sitting there one day and thinking, wow, and a lot of churches, these softwares are catering to these churches. And the market is not even saturated. It's not even remotely saturated. And I can imagine these software companies that are catering to this specific hot niche are doing quite well. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is a piece of software that I could get my programmers to create within less than 1 week. And I guarantee you that they're doing pretty well. Because most companies, churches, businesses, whatever, they're using softwares that are usually outdated, and usually the main problem or the main reason why they lose time and money. Now keep in mind with software you do have to have a lot of support, or not have a lot of support, but you do need to provide support for them. Especially when you're dealing with local businesses, most of them are not technologically savvy. But if it's an ebook or system that will help them, maybe consultation, improving their system, that will work too. Now that we've talked about ideas, let me go out on the internet and show you how in a little more detail. So I kind of touched base a little bit on this in the previous video, but I want to go in a little more depth on this. And remember, this whole goal is to find problems that specific businesses face. But the way you find the problems that they might be facing is to kind of get a perspective from their eyes by going to Amazon.com, maybe even typing in how to start your window cleaning business. I don't know if they have anything on that. It says how to start and manage a window washing service, which sounds to be pretty much the same. So let's take a look here. It says out of print, but I wonder if it has a table of contents. I don't see a table of contents here, but I could go to Google. I could type the same thing in quotation marks. I don't see anything, so I'm going to... Okay, I see something here. How to start a window cleaning business. Pros and cons of a window cleaning business. Window cache. There's bound to be a lot of information out there on how to start specific businesses. So you kind of get into the heads of people who are running the businesses. So it costs very little to get started. There's no college degree. But the drawbacks: window cleaning can be dangerous. Of course, you can create a decent income. Alright, so good. What I've found here is basically problems that they face. And perhaps it's hazardous problems, of course. So I have to ask myself, can this be applied to what I'm doing? Or is this, can I actually create some sort of product around this? Or should I have to go the other way and maybe create a marketing product and customize it for Windows cleaning tips or Windows cleaning businesses? So what I usually tell people is, if you're going to create a product, create it around something that you have some sort of expertise around already. Mine is marketing. Some people are good at other things, and you might find that they might intertwine with that. With window cleaning business, of course, I don't see them really using a lot of software because they're probably not as technically savvy. I'm not saying they're not, but I'm just saying they're probably less likely to be using a piece of software unless that piece of software is catered towards maybe organizing their customer base and things like that. Something I mentioned earlier was about churches, catering to churches, providing a piece of software that allows them to organize who visits the church and then how they can approach the visitor and, thank them for coming, follow up with them. And you can take that idea, you can use it for Windows business. You can say, okay, I'm going to create a software that allows them to keep track of their leads, possibly follow up with their leads, things like that. Of course, that would be just like an autoresponder system, but you kind of get the idea here that you can create ideas. But the whole idea here is basically to find what problems they are facing. So that specific method I found helps me get in the minds of that specific business owner. So let's do auto repair. How to start your auto repair business. So you've got information: start an auto repair shop, start your own small business, how to start your own auto repair shop. I like the how-to articles because they kind of get in the mind of these auto repair businesses. They have business plans too, which you can look at. Auto body shop, auto repair shop, bakery, bistro, restaurant, bowling center. You can get in the heads of all these people just by reading their business plans and figuring out what kind of problems they face. So as you can see here, it's very, very easy to find problems that businesses are facing. And then, of course, you come around with a solution, whether it's a software, whether it's a system, or whether it's a service, marketing service, any type of service that you can offer them to help them maybe sell better, to help them improve their relationship with their customers. There's ideas that you can create quickly. And then sometimes studying their customers can help as well, because if you study their customers and you understand their customers, sometimes you can find problems that their customers are facing that eventually lead up to problems that they are facing. So make sure you use that same concept. Remember, go to Google, type in how to start a specific business, whatever your niche you're going into. Try to get to understand their problems and their needs, whatever takes their time, whatever investments of money they make. Try to study that so that you can create a right product that fulfills their needs.